You guys have any questions? Huh?
How was Army Wives?
Army Wives was fun. It was a lot of fun. I got to spend about 5-6 months in Charleston, South Carolina, which is a beautiful city. Got to work with some really cool people, and the character was a lot of fun. I played a role, a soldier, a young private that suffered from PTSD, which is something a lot of our soldiers go through, and it was cool. I got to watch a lot of documentaries and read some books about our U.S. military and what it's like for them to come home and after war, and how much of a struggle that is. And it was nice to portray a role like that on camera.
Yeah, my dad still has PTSD from the storm.
Really?
Yeah,
I bet. I mean, so many people suffer from it, and not a lot of people know that the war really kind of begins for them when they get back from wherever they've been. I don't know. Anybody else? Good question.
Can I be your best friend?
Sure. Lights out. Pops. Any other questions? Yeah.
When you're getting your album together, like, how do you decide what type of music you play? Because, like, for your Beautiful Soul album, it was like kind of sweet and nice, so kind of Disney. Then you got to Right Where You Want Me, and it's still like nice and sweet. And then you get like songs like Blow Your Mind, Get His Little Girl, like you're kind of growing up. And then Departure is sort of like, wow, what are you doing with the NCR springy song? What? Well, when I listened to it, I was like, what is this NCR song about? Like, wow, you read between the lines.
You should write the bio. Yeah, I think, obviously it's just like sort of the natural progression of things. As you get older, you start to know more about things, period. For this album, the main goal was I wanted to capture a sort of retro sounding, just like a retro sound, period. And we wanted something that was sort of reminiscent of the songs that I grew up listening to, which was music from the late 70s, early 80s, a lot of Michael, Prince, even stuff like Earth, Wind and Fire. And I think like once we decided that would be the sound, then we just we sat around. I worked with a lot of writers that were my age, they're mid to late 20s, and talked about things that I don't know that we think about. And there's one song on the album called "Tie the Knot," and it's it's pretty self-explanatory. It's sort of about what it would be like to get married, and that whole singing. I know women think about it, since they're 9 years old, they'd start thinking about that stuff. But I know, most guys think about that too. And we're sitting in a room, and we wanted to do like a fun wedding song. But it's all about balance too. There's going to be a lot of up tempos, but there's also going to be some really personal ballads. One of which we'll play tonight. It's called "Checkmate." I think as you get older, you sort of just. I try to just write what I know. And it's at least the most honest songwriting. So, yeah.
Are you going to sing Miss Mistake tonight?
I'm not singing Mrs. Mistake tonight, but we're singing a few new ones that you guys haven't heard yet. Yeah.
There was a song that you did a while back on your Keek where you were spinning around in circles on the chair. Are we going to hear that one?
Oh, No Worries.
Ever soon? You know which one I'm talking about?
No.
The No Worries one?
Yeah, that one. Are we
Oh,
gonna
No
hear that
Worries.
soon?
I don't know actually what's going to happen with that song. I've been back and forth on whether or not I want to put it on the record because we were recording it early on. It's a fun one. I don't know that it's exactly sonically cohesive with the rest of the album, but it's a fun song for sure, and I enjoyed that one a lot. Anybody else?
So, what do you like better, acting, singing? Are you going back to being more in music, or?
Well, right now, definitely the music has taken the front seat. When you put together an album, it takes a lot of time and dedication, and you kind of have to put all your eggs in that basket, just because you can't be working on a television show like Army Wives, for instance. We're still waiting to hear if it's going to come back for an 8th season, and if it does, that'll be a really tough choice whether or not to go back, or because I'm in the middle, I'm knee deep in this record, and it's proven to demand all of my attention even now, and we haven't even gotten into the heart of promotion yet. So it's tough, but as to whether I enjoy one more than the other, I don't know if I can pick. It's hard. I get bored easily, and I like to jump around, you know, to all the different mediums of entertainment. But right now, I'm fully focused on music and this album. You guys want to take? Yeah, go ahead.
What made you decide to be famous?
I never decided to be famous. That's a very common misconception, and anyone who sets out to be famous is making a catastrophic mistake with their life. So make sure that that's never a goal of yours. Please. My goal was to just succeed in music and in the arts and in acting and in performing and entertaining. I always, knew that that's something I wanted to do, and it wasn't for the money or the fame. It was never about any of that. And it gets misconstrued. People think that it's a really fun thing, and it can be, but it's not all there is, and it's certainly why it's not why I do what I do. I do it because I love to make music. I love playing on stage every night, and it's again, it's just like it's a common misconception. People think that everyone who does what they do is for to be famous, and it's just not the case. But yeah.
So you've acted in TV shows, Summer Lane, Army Wives. You've done movies in person. So how does that differ from putting your voice in for Tinkerbell and Future Moms?
It's all part of the same thing. It's acting. It's just using your voice as opposed to live camera. It's a fun gig actually, because you can just show up to the studio in your pajamas and your slippers, and trust me, I do that. And you go to work, and it's a really laid back gig. You go in there, you sit down, you're behind a microphone, you get to create different voices, and it's a lot of fun. But I think it's just another, it is acting. It's voice acting.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you finally get your album together, are you gonna have your own tour, or your Army Wives gets picked up, or you gonna push it back,
I don't know. I think that obviously if there's a whole process that goes along with putting out an album, and touring is definitely a big element. And I think probably sometime next year I'm going to do my own tour. It's definitely a plan. I don't have any dates yet, but if I had to guess, probably springtime.
I do.
Yeah.
Do you sometimes wish you weren't famous because people follow you around and you don't have them?
Yeah, there's times where it's tough. You just want to go down the street and and you do want to just wear your pajamas and don't get changed, and you have to think about that stuff, which you should never have to think about that, But everyone has good days and bad days, I'm still human, so I have days where I go out and I'm just not in the best mood, and I have to put on a face and be friendly. It's sort of it can be a catch-22, and there's a lot of perks, there's a lot of great things that come with it, and I do try to use that sort of power that I do have in an influential way, and try to, and do things to help people, I think that's there's a big picture aspect to it. There's good days and bad days for sure. You guys want to take some pictures?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Eddie, where should we set up for photos?